Okay. Did it turn 9 on yours? I've got a minute. Okay. Okay. We ready? Okay, you put your. Okay. Okay, good morning. It's now 9 a.m. The monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. This morning's meeting is open to all members of the community club and is being recorded for viewing on the community club website. We are also live streaming this morning's meeting for member viewing. To honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence to remember those who are serving in uniform and defending freedom. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, please call the roll of the board members.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here.
Okay, thank you, Pat. And this morning, I want to make sure that we introduce Ellen Anderson, who is now the declarant representative replacing Misty Galloway on the board. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting held on December 15th, 2022?
Motion to approve December 15th meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes of the December 15th, 2022 board meeting are approved. In the audience this morning, we have some distinguished guests. We have Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster, 9th District Commissioner Colleen Mall, and our 6th District Commissioner Joe Sherrill. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you for giving me just a minute. I do have just a few things to hit on this morning. First thing is I wanted to remind everyone the courthouse downtown where county services are is still in disrepair with the structural damages you've probably read about. Engineering firm went through that the last 2 days. I met with them in the office yesterday. They were still grimy and dirty from climbing through. It's going to be a year plus before we're back in there. So how does that affect you? Just remember that the county clerk is out at the former Progressive Savings Bank building at 1760 South Main Street. If you're going from Crossville towards the Homestead, it's on the right out there. The archives is still at the church on East First Street and is likely to remain there. And my office, the Register of Deeds, and the VSO and Finance are still in the old courthouse, but you have to come in the back. It is locked down. Our VSO is retiring, our Veteran Services Officer. He has been great. If you know anybody interested in the job, we're taking applications for it right now. So just contact the HR department of the county. And finally, I wanted to mention that the Upper Cumberland Human Resources Agency has partnered with Uber, and now you can get a very cost-effective Uber ride. If you do the Uber app, you can go, and when you enter your destination and choose the drive, one of the options you'll be able to clearly see is from the Upper Cumberland Resources Agency, and it's a pretty reduced price. So one of the things we've talked about often is improving transportation in the county, so there's another step in that. And that's all I have.
Hey, John.
That's it. If anybody has any questions, here now or after the meeting.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Mall, did you have any comments that you wanted to make? Commissioner Sherrill? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to share the following comments with you from across the board this morning. We have finished 2022 with a very strong financial performance, allowing the community club to add additional funds to our reserve balances for future projects and rainy days, and we will have comments on that later during the treasurer's report. As we look forward to 2023, we are cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to maintain our current financial performance trends. We are, however, very aware that the uncertainties associated with unpredictable interruptions in the global supply chain will more than likely result in negative impacts on both the availability of certain goods and services, as well as increasing the cost of goods and services that are available. We expect that the current conditions in the labor market will persist well into 2023, resulting in a need to increase our focus on expenses associated with recruiting and retaining high-quality members for our community club team. We will remain vigilant in monitoring our financial performance as the year unfolds, and will take the necessary actions to ensure that we minimize any negative impacts. Once again, we would remind everyone that we are facing the annual flu season, which is anticipated to be more serious than in previous years. Please take the time to consider receiving this year's flu vaccination to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your friends. We are continuing to work with private club associates on our comprehensive strategic planning engagement to deliver a strategic plan document designed to grow, change, and evolve with time. The plan will be consistent with the community club's mission, vision, core values, and the social fabric of Fairfield Glade. Included in the process will be an analysis of emerging trends among communities like ours and an examination of our facility use data along with forecasting of future needs. Internal initial interviews with community leaders and key stakeholders have been conducted, and additional interviews with other key stakeholders will be scheduled soon. You may be asked to participate in discussion groups, and you can expect to be surveyed regarding the use of various amenities. A regular membership communication plan is also a component of this planning process. We have interviewed and selected members of the new Strategic Planning Committee. The committee will play an important role throughout the process to develop the strategic plan document. And once the strategic plan document is completed, presented to our membership, and approved by the board, the committee will be charged with annually recommending updates based on new trends, new data, and new needs and conditions as they are identified. The committee will develop and update a work plan to be reviewed annually by the board. Members who would like to share additional comments regarding the strategic planning initiative can reach out to the strategic planning team by sending email messages to the strategic planning team at strategicplanning@fairfieldglade.cc. Information concerning the strategic planning team will also be available on the community club website. Here are the latest updates on our major capital projects. The next phase of the Robin Hood Park expansion project for a pavilion with restrooms, bocce ball courts, and hard surface paths will begin with bocce ball courts in 2023, and the remainder of the project will follow through 2024. Renovation of the St. George Marina building is scheduled for the fall of 2023 and the first quarter of 2024. The Druid Hills project team continues to work on the planning process to determine what the next Druid Hills Clubhouse facility should provide for our growing community. We have received the responses to our request for proposal for a golf architect. The scope of that RFP is to hire a golf architect that will take the requirements developed by the golf committee and approved by the steering committee and the board, design the layout for the driving range and the practice putting green, produce construction plans for those two areas, develop a request for proposal to hire a company to modify the existing driving range and construct the larger putting green, and provide oversight during the construction phase. The steering committee will be making a recommendation regarding the awarding of a contract to the successful responder for consideration by the board at today's meeting. The Food and Beverage Subcommittee conducted additional focus group meetings in January to look deeper into the food and beverage requirements and options at Druid Hills. They have engaged private club associates to help the subcommittee with the survey construction, survey distribution, and the analysis of the survey results. Members who would like to share additional comments regarding the Druid Hills project can reach out to the Druid Hills planning team by sending email messages to the planning team at druidhillsprojects@fairfieldglade.cc. And information concerning the Druid Hills Advanced Planning Team is also available on the Community Club website. And that is our January update from across the board. The next item on the agenda is the Treasurer's Report. Bruce?
Good morning. I'll refer you to the handout that you have and remind you that the numbers in the parentheses by some of the dollar amounts refer back to the attached sheets. As Ken mentioned, we finished 2022 with a very strong financial performance. On the balance sheet in sewer, we have almost $4.8 million of total cash compared to $3.9 million at the end of December of 2021, which is a positive variation of over $800,000. For the Property Owners Association and amenities, we have $2.9 million of capital cash plus $6.5 million of operating cash for a total of $9.4 million of POA and amenity cash compared to $7.7 million at the end of December of last year, which is a positive variation of $1.7 million. If you look at the cash flow sheet, sewer ended 2022 with a positive cash flow of a little over $53,000. Revenue for the end of the year was favorable to budget by almost $199,000, which was mainly driven by increased tap fees due to new homes, while expenses for the year were unfavorable by about $145,000 due to significant increases in grinder pump costs related to the increase in tap fee revenues plus material and utility cost increases. On the Property Owners Association, we ended with a positive cash flow of $827,000. This positive cash flow is mainly the result of favorable variances, which include more billable lots than we had budgeted, increased emphasis on bad debt recovery, several open positions which we did not fill, savings on some mobilization for desilting, and savings on road paving. The major item on the expense side was bad debt write-off. So in the amenities, we ended 2022 with a positive cash flow of about $59,000. This positive cash flow is the result of favorable variances, including golf revenue with rounds exceeding budget by 9,383 rounds, and savings on leases. Food and beverage was negative to budget, driven by cost of sales, while the marinas contributed negatively on the expense side with marina revenues under budget. Overall, POA and amenities ended with a positive cash flow of $886,581, resulting in a positive cash variance of $327,643 as compared to the budget of negative $558,938. Fairfield Glade Community Club had a very positive financial outcome in 2022, which include paying off the center loan, resulting in Fairfield Glade ending 2022 debt-free. And as a result, we are ending 2023 in a very favorable financial position. So I'd also, since this is the end of the quarter, I attach additional charts in here. In addition to the ones I usually put in, there's an equity chart showing how our equity is done over the last couple of years. There's a chart on property, plant, and equipment, as well as the dashboards that I usually include. So is there any questions about all that? Yes?
Ted Landers. Last year, the board elected to not proceed with some of the improvement projects that we were going to do.
Right.
Where is that money showing up in here that was not spent?
So it shows up in the capital column on the balance sheet. It'll show up on in the capital column. That's why our capital cash, if you go back to, I'm on the balance sheet page. It says balance sheet. See it, Nico? If you look at the cash for capital, I mentioned up on the balance sheet portion of it that capital cash was $6,948,000 of capital. So that's where that money resides that we did not spend.
And can you tell me how much money that
Oh,
was deferred?
The deferred projects, I'd have to go back and look. I don't know that number off the top of my head. I honestly can't. I hate to take a guess at that. I have so many numbers rolling in my head that I would hate to guess at what it is. But if you want to send me an email, I will gladly send that information to you. My email address is at the bottom of the page there. So I'd feel you bet. Anything else, Tom?
You've gone through and did a nice job explaining in the previous meeting how you're monitoring the ops side of it with purchase orders being approved ahead of time so they can act on savings and how the board would use that and so forth. Could you kind of go through the capital funds, the operation, the capital reserves, the operation reserves, how they are formed, how they kind of intermingle, but yet they're not intermingled?
The operating reserve, again, if you look at the balance sheet, we have $5.5 million of operating reserve, okay? The capital reserve is a spreadsheet that's not on here, but it's, and those are distinctly different. The operating reserve can be used for operating costs or capital costs. The capital, the column that you see marked capital on the balance sheet can only be used for capital. And we've explained before that we put all of our reserves in the operating reserve so that we have the flexibility to do that either way.
So it makes a lot of sense. Essentially, though, if we, laymen want to just kind of look at it, we could kind of take the operating reserve and the capital reserve and say, well, we can use all that for capital projects.
You could.
If the board decides.
Yeah, that's correct. You could do that. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, with that, if you look at the cash flow sheet, as I mentioned, we had $327,643 of cash at the end of the year. And I'm going to make a motion to the board that we place $325,000 of that cash into the operating reserve, bringing the operating reserve to $5,825,000. So I'm making a motion to do that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any
Okay, is there
discussion
any
about that?
discussion on the board? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the addition to the operating reserve is approved.
Okay, thank you. Again, if there's any questions, my email's on there. Please send me an email. I will respond.
For us that are kind of sitting here, where you came up with it, 800 versus 325. I'm just curious, it didn't come up yesterday, and you said it is on the cash flow sheet. Thank you.
The other thing that I think we should mention also, Bruce, is that this year we will be doing a capital reserve study to take a look at what is the appropriate amount of reserves for the community club to have, given the amount of facilities that we have, because the reserve study is primarily designed to make sure that you have enough money in your savings account to cover replacements of buildings and major repairs on the buildings and that sort of thing. And it's all done within an actuary that lays out what year, how much you should be putting aside. And so if you think about it, it's kind of like a company that's funding a pension plan. You know, you need to make contributions every year to ensure that the funds are there and available should something occur. And so we, at this point, don't know what that recommended reserve amount will be. And so we are cautiously optimistic that we will have more than enough to meet that reserve amount, and then that will give us some surplus reserves to deal with future projects and that. But as we move forward from a budgeting standpoint, funding the capital reserve will be the first priority in terms of where do we go with the dollars that we have. We need to be able to fund that reserve every single year as we move forward. And we'll know more about that later this year as the reserve study comes back. The next item on the agenda, Bob, is the general manager's report.
Okay, thank you. The new sign at the square is on hold right now. They're waiting for the spillway where the waterfall will come out. And so once that's in and installed, then they can finish the rock work and continue the process. And obviously that's always weather dependent. Some other community improvements, we're currently working with a contractor to improve our HVAC system at this building, and that should be finished up here this month, and we should see some utility savings in 2023. That was an item that was significantly over budget in 2022, a lot of which was due to the inflation cost for gas and oil and things of that nature, utility cost. Year-to-date golf rounds for 2022, 150,382, which was 9,400 more than budget and the most golf rounds we've had since 2011. So it was a banner year. It was primarily due to golf packages. So they generated a lot of additional rounds, and they pay a higher price than our members, so that's good as well. The average rounds per course per day open, which is kind of our benchmark, were 114. Compared to 112 in 2021. So that's always good to see an improvement in that each year. We plan to continue the current yard waste pickup program, so that's one trash bag or 1 yard waste bag in addition to your normal garbage on a weekly basis, and we'll continue that until we have isolated and finalized plans for either a compost site on site or working with a private owner outside of Fairfield Glade to have a site off-site where you can take your materials. So we'll probably have more on that, and hopefully you can have a final decision on that in February. Following PRs have been approved by me or the SMT, and these are PRs that are under the $25,000 threshold needed to go to the board for approval. So the first one is the renovation of the Dartmoor service counter and monitors to replace the old menu boards. That's $5,000, and that's actually coming from the Marina Operating Reserve Fund, so not from the capital fund. Then the other is the Druid Hills F&B survey, food and beverage survey by private club associates. So that's designed to help us finalize the final requirements for the food and beverage operation at Druid Hills, and that was $7,500. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Tom?
Bob, and maybe this is more for the future, but since we have such a, so much money that we're putting aside for our employees and so forth, can you give us an idea first, how many open positions you have? And then on a monthly basis, come back to us with how many open positions do you have? How many people have we actually lost during the month? Because obviously we're spending $2 million to try to take and have retention very high and attract employees.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I'm sure you're giving it to the board, they probably wanted to justify the $2 million, just to show us, if you.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah.
We do, we actually do quarterly updates on the HR status. So I would envision that would probably be in the quarterly report, Tom. We can do that going forward. Okay, the resort report. Barb?
Good morning. Occupancy is down at the Wyndham Resort as far as timeshares, which isn't unusual for this time of the year. Month to date and year to date for 2023 is 456. 2022 year to date was 61,857 visitors. Timeshare revenues, like revenue, the center year to date 18,173, which is 4%. Racket sports year to date 14,420, 5%. Dartmoor year-to-date is 133,530, 48%. St. George year-to-date 49,768, which is 25%. Gulf 710,572, which is 9%. Food and beverage year-to-date 443,564, which is 25%. As far as 2022, total revenues were $1,370,077, which is 13% average. And we are up 60,000 from 2021 into 2022. Thank you.
Thanks,
I'd
Brad.
refer you to the last sheet of your handout as well. That data is in there.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the architectural.
Yes.
There was a recent article in the Vista concerning timeshares. Timeshares pay up, ownerships pay one thing, visitors who use points are paying another, and members of the community are paying another. Some examples, so like, the points people pay zero for amenity. Is there any counts of timeshares? Who are owners coming and who are visitors using points? Do you track that?
It doesn't matter if they're using points, if they're a visitor or an owner. Everybody is paying maintenance fees, and it is based on the amount of units, and they're charged double. And as far as I know, for this coming year, they will pay an extra additional $1.50 from what they had been paying. So nobody gets in free.
Okay. Sam, architectural control update.
Good morning. The architectural controls reports as follows. Miscellaneous approvals, which are changes to established homes in the community, for 2022 was 1,692, and for 2021 that was 1,855. New homes approved in the community for 2022 was 124, and in 2021 it was 125. New homes completed for 2022 was 118, and in December, or correction, in 2021 it was 81. Is there any question? Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. This morning we have one item of unfinished business, and that is the document request fee changes that have been posted on the website for the past month. We have received very few comments on that change. So with that, I will entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the document request fee change.
I make a motion that we approve the document request fee changes.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the document request fee change has been approved. Under the items of new business, okay, this is regarding the declarant memorandum of understanding that we have reached. Community Club Board of Directors would like to share the following comments regarding a proposed memorandum of understanding we have reached with the declarant, Mr. Tom Anderson. The board believes its strategy of good faith negotiations with Mr. Anderson has resulted in a proposed MOU that will benefit both parties. As we discussed, the Druid Hills Driving Range and Golf Maintenance Building owned by Tom Anderson. He offered to build and finance a new fire department building in another location as part of a commercial lease-to-own arrangement with the community club, provided that the community club would consider exchanging the fire department parcel for the Druid Hills Driving Range and Golf Maintenance Building parcel. The appraised value of the two parcels is $185,000 for the Druid Hills Driving Range and Golf Maintenance Building parcel, and $45,000 for the Peavine Road Fire Station parcel. Over the past 2 years, the board has been in ongoing conversations with the Fairfield Glade Fire Department regarding renovations to Fire Station 1 on Peavine Road. Our conversations have evolved over time from renovations to the interior of the fire department for the department and for the emergency medical service accommodations, to just an effort to renovate the EMS quarters. As our conversations have evolved, the cost of the project has increased from an original estimate of $50,000 to then $100,000, and currently, with a very limited scope, the project is estimated to cost around $150,000. We believe that when we receive the actual construction bids, the construction costs will more than likely exceed the $150,000 estimate. We also know that the $150,000 investment in Fire Station 1 is just the beginning of what will be required to fully renovate the 47-year-old building to meet the current and future needs of the fire department and EMS personnel. Tom Anderson also owns the parcel of land that is underneath the 2 bays on the left of the fire department building, as well as the land behind the building. Currently, he is considering possible future development on parcels in that area consisting of a multifamily residential complex, which would also generate new community club annual assessment revenue. So rather than investing in a partial renovation and facing the decision of additional costly renovations or construction of a new building in the future, we will move forward with the construction of a new fire department building in 2023 with an estimated completion date in early 2025. Presently, the preliminary estimates of the cost to construct a new building are approximately $2 million. We have the capital funds to take on this project. However, we would prefer to spread the cost of the project over several years. The Community Club Board of Directors and the Major Capital Projects Committee will work with the Fairfield Glade Fire Department and Cumberland County EMS to determine the specifications and requirements for the new fire department building. We will consider Tom Anderson's offer to finance the new fire department building, and we'll also explore the alternative of a short-term loan with our financial institution. We believe that either financing option will be more than covered by the contributions that we are currently making to our debt service reserve account. Tom Anderson has also agreed to an option to construct a welcome center building as part of his plan for the fire department building parcel once the fire department has relocated and the existing building has been demolished. The community club would have an option to enter into a commercial lease with Tom Anderson to be the anchor tenant in the new welcome center building. As we previously announced, Tom Anderson's FGH Land Tennessee LLC will also begin a more focused effort to market and sell selected community-owned lots in the community to develop new homes on community club lots, generating additional assessment revenue. The Board of Directors believes that the MOU with Tom Anderson is advantageous to both organizations. Mr. Anderson will gain a valuable parcel of property on Peavine Road in the core of Fairfield Glade that will complement and support his commercial real estate holdings around the Grove. Community Club will gain the Druid Hills driving range and golf maintenance parcel, removing any hurdle to the redevelopment of the Druid Hills clubhouse and golf complex. Community Club will benefit from replacing the 47-year-old fire department building to meet the current and future needs of the fire department and EMS personnel. The Community Club will have the option to avoid a capital investment in a new welcome center building by entering into the commercial lease agreement to be the anchor tenant in the newly constructed building in a prime location on Peavine Road. And then the Community Club will benefit from additional annual assessment revenue from the additional residential development. The Community Club Board of Directors believes this MOU is in the long-term best interest of the Community Club. Action on the proposed agreement will be considered at the Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 board meeting Any comments regarding the proposed agreement should be received by Monday, February 13th, 2023 for consideration by the board. A link to the Memorandum of Understanding document will be provided for member review and comment. And we will be posting that probably tomorrow for member viewing. So you'll have the full MOU document plus the statement on it. We have 6 purchase requisitions to consider this morning. The first one is for the information technology equipment. And Amy?
Good morning. I have for you a PR for $50,000 for the purchase of computer equipment for 2023. This will cover the workstations, a new network server, and a backup server. I'm sorry? For where? The administrative office. Mm-hmm. Do you have any more questions?
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the $50,000 PR for the information technology equipment?
I make a motion to approve the $50,000 for the IT equipment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the PR for the information technology equipment in the amount of $50,000 is approved. Thank you, Amy. The next item is a facilities new work vehicle. Sam?
Yes, sir. I have a PR for $58,000 for a new vehicle for building maintenance. We've added a position to that department, and this vehicle would be outfitted for the new position. The original budgeted amount for the PR was $65,000. We were able to obtain a very good used vehicle for $58,000.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions from board members? Then can I have a motion to approve the $58,000 PR for the new work vehicle for facilities?
Yeah, before I make that motion, this PR was actually approved between last board's meeting and this board meeting via email because Sam and Greg Reppert found this van, and if we did not buy it at the time they found it, it was going to be gone. And so I emailed the board. They all emailed back and unanimously approved the PR. So today what I'm doing is just confirming, make a motion to confirm that PR of $58,000.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion in the amount of $58,000 for the PR for the new work vehicle is approved.
Thank you.
The next PR on the agenda is the Dorchester Pool, and this is for deck repair and epoxy coating. And Abby?
Yes. I'm proposing the capital expenditure of $48,500 for the replacement and the repair of the deck. It's cracked. If you've been out there, it's cracked and has, and then putting a non-slip surface on that deck. Questions?
Okay. Any questions from board members? May I have a motion to approve the $48,500 for the Dorchester Pool repair?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Barb. Is there a second to that?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, your epoxy coating and deck repair PR is approved. And then we have Druid Hills for the replacement steps and acid wash of the pool.
I propose a PR for $30,000 for the replace of the Druid steps and ash wash of the pool. Those steps, that pool was built in the 70s, and so the steps that are in there, if you've been over there, are very inadequate for our residents to get in and out of the pool adequately. So we'd like to replace all those.
Okay. Are there any questions on that? And can I have a motion to approve the $30,000 for the Druid Hills pool? This is to replace the steps and to acid wash the pool.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you're all set there, Abby.
Yep.
Then we have the the police department. This is the 2023 vehicle fleet purchase in the amount of $250,000. Chief?
Good morning. Again, this PR is for $250,000 in the purchase of 7 vehicles to maintain our fleet for our additional 2023 officers and also to maintain our new policy within our fleet management. And again, this is an open policy or open PR for us to be able to purchase and optimize our budget throughout the year whenever the market is available. Any questions?
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the PR for the 2023 Police Department vehicle fleet?
Before I make that motion, I'll just echo what the chief has just said, is we're approving this so that when vehicles become available on the used market, you have to grab them when they're available. They stay on the line maybe 2 days, 1 day.
Yes, and yeah, and we've been fortunate enough to with one of the vendors that we've used previously in 2022, with the vehicles that are available right now, we do have a hold on a few vehicles if this PR is approved.
And so we want to give her the latitude to purchase them when she finds them versus missing out on that opportunity. This will be another PR that will be reviewed quarterly.
Absolutely.
To see how that process is going. So with all that, I'll make the motion to approve the $250,000.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The PR in the amount of $250,000 is approved for the
Thank you.
2023 vehicle fleet purchase. Final PR on the agenda this morning is for the golf course architect. It's part of the Druid Hills project. Greg?
Okay, this actually was on the agenda originally for December, and we delayed it for a month to this point. So I'll go over the rationale of how we got there and kind of the timeline real quickly. I'll have some other comments when we get to the board member comments about where we are with Druid and another announcement about the lots, where we are with those. This actually, we sent out the RFP in October 27th of 2022. By November 17th, we actually had the responses back. The steering committee for Druid Hills looked at those responses and had asked questions of the different bidders, and that went on between November 17th and December 2nd. And at the December 2nd steering committee, we made a recommendation to take to the board, which is resulting in this PR. We had 3 people bid on, or we sent the RFP to 3 different individuals, companies, to bid on this. One was Bill Bergen. They did not respond to the RFP. They were just flat out too busy. Bob Cupp was another one. They came back and they were the highest bid. And basically what they told us is they could not meet our timeline either. The third one was Golf Links, and that was the decision point where we recommended Golf Links to be awarded the agreement. Why did we choose Golf Links? It's recognized as one of the best in this area for doing this kind of work. We've had experience with them here at Fairfield Glade. They've done 5 projects here. So we've seen their work. We know what it looks like. We know what to expect. We know the individuals. They're also pretty knowledgeable about what's going on in these things. This is a little different than most designs. We're not designing a golf putting green, for instance, for a golf course or practice for golf. This is more of an entertainment putting green, so it's a little different animal. So we wanted people that had done this before and could give us actual ideas about how to best use that space for that, and also had worked on the driving ranges before, and they met both of those criteria. There were several people from the steering committee and the golf staff who visited at least 2 of the places that they've actually done this kind of work, and came back and reported to the steering committee about what they saw. So that went into the factor. And I want to be clear about this. This agreement is strictly for design and oversight of construction. Golf Links will not, under this RFP, now they may choose to bid, but I don't think they will, they are not getting any of the construction work on this. There'll be a separate RFP, which I'll tell you about in a minute, that will go out for people to bid on that work. That will be a different group of people. So we wanted to keep the oversight of the construction and the design of the construction separate from the actual construction, so that we had some kind of checks and balances there. Golf Links happened to be the low-cost bidder, And Golf Links was the only one of the three vendors that actually did a site visit here to take a look at what we were doing, walk the property with us, and say, this is what we think we're going to do. So the scope of work, as Ken mentioned, across the board, there's 3 scopes of work to what we're awarding or proposing to award this work for. The conceptual design with the cost and design study, locating and the sizing of the golf elements of the project, which for this RFP is basically what we're going to do on the driving range and what we're going to do on this entertainment putting green. That's what we're talking about. Phase 2, it will be the construction and oversight of that, or producing the construction documents so that we can create an RFP to go out to the vendors so that they can then respond to that. And then the final piece of it is the oversight of the construction itself. So with that, we are recommending the approval of a $25,000 purchase order or purchase request with the, which includes all the above scope of work. There's $20,500 that were put in the RFP response and confirmed with the vendor that that's what this cost will be to us. And there's an additional $4,500 because travel, there may be some travel that's additional above the $20,500. So we put in $4,500 for that. So the recommendation is for the purchase request to be for $25,000. And I make that motion.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion for the golf course architect for the Druid Hills planning project is approved in the amount of $25,000. The next item on the agenda is the Fairfield Glade Resident Services update, and Phil Birdsall is here to present that update.
Good morning. On behalf of Fairfield Glade Resident Services, I want to take just a few minutes this morning to highlight 3 different but related programs that are available to our residents. Resident Services initiated one of these programs and has been involved in implementing one of the others. It's a fact of life that our residents need to call 911 at times, requiring assistance from first responders. The more information those first responders have, the better they are able to provide that assistance. Frequently, they need to know what medications are being taken by the person they are trying to help, and in addition to know who the emergency contact is. If I was ill or injured, I will admit that I don't think I could tell a first responder the medications that I take. There are too many. I can't remember the names. At best, I could say I take some for here and some for here and there, and that's about it. I'm equally embarrassed to tell you that I know for sure I could not tell a first responder the medications that my wife takes. Some years ago, Fairfield Glade Resident Services developed a program to assist the first responders with this type of situation. That program is called the Vial of Life program. Vial of Life is packaged in a convenient container. In the container is an information sheet that allows you to list your meds, to provide emergency contact information, and list any other pertinent medical information that might help save your life in the event of an emergency. The container was designed to be placed in the glove box of your vehicle, or also to be placed in your home, basically in your freezer. The Vial of Life is used often today, and first responders have been trained to look for the vial. We're now in the process of rolling out an updated delivery method for that same information, and I'd like to quickly show it to you. The kit will be available at Fairfield Glade Resident Services in a small bag, small plastic bag. Inside the kit, among other things, is an instruction sheet and a plastic envelope with magnets on the back. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Simply fill out the information sheet, place it in the envelope, slap the envelope on your refrigerator door, and put a small decal that's provided on your front door And the first responders in our community will see that, and they will know what it means, and they will know exactly where to look to get the information that will be helpful to them. You'll probably want to put a second envelope, identical, in your glove box, and maybe a same decal on your car in case you're involved in a motor vehicle accident here in our community. One of the difficulties I've had in the past with this program is keeping the information in the container current. We've addressed that issue because we are going to make the information form available, and it is already available at our website. So all you need to do now is open the form on your computer, fill it out, save it, print it, and put it in the container. Periodically, as your medications or the other information change, you can pull up that form, change it, reprint it, and put it back in without ever really leaving your computer. We think this is going to be a dramatic improvement, specifically because perhaps having outdated information is as bad as having no information at all. We expect to have this revised program fully operational in a couple of months, so watch for it. A second program operated by the Fairfield Glade Police Department is known as their Emergency Contact Information Program. You have the option of providing the similar information, emergency information, to the police department, and at your discretion, even information as to how the police can gain access to your home quickly and easily in the event of an emergency. For example, your key code for your garage door. This information is only available and given to the police department. It is only utilized if needed. For some time, that information was actually maintained by the police department, basically on 4x6 index cards in a cabinet at the police department. Recently, with the assistance of resident services, a system has been developed so that that information is available to a responding officer electronically from his or her patrol car, thus providing the information much more rapidly to assist with any emergency. Now, I was speaking with Chief Self just before the meeting started, and I hope I get this right, and if I don't, I trust that you will correct me, but they're also working on having the same form available by computer that we have, so that you can, again, not have to take the information to them or write it out. You go to your, ultimately be able to do your computer. Is that about right?
Thank you, Phil. And again, our partnership with FGRS has been gratefully helpful for our officers. Just to note, we just purchased a new program system that's going to offer different modules to our public and to our residents to include this program here. And we're beta testing the Home Watch system. So currently, you can go on our website, fill out information, we get it, we manually enter it for Leon, Woody, and our officers. Now with this Home Watch program, you'll be able to go on to this link. You can put in the information, automatically uploads into the system. So now every time that your house is checked, it is time-stamped with the time and who that person checked it. And this is going to expand it better for our night shift officers, so there's more day and night checks on your houses. To go further on what Mr. Birdsall stated with the emergency information, it's the same thing, but you can also provide pictures of where you have a hidden key. You can provide more information to us, including alarm systems, more emergency contact information. But if you have a key that we want access to, you can fill out the form and just bring in your key. Again, we will still maintain the paper and pen version for those who don't like using the computers. But again, we will manually enter this information into that program. And again, it's going to be more accessible to our officers and also more accessible to you guys. And we'll be rolling out those programs hopefully soon. We're beta testing the Home Watch system program now. And we'll be doing press releases and hopefully an e-blast whenever these programs go out and provide more information to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. That was very helpful. All right, the final program I want to highlight real briefly here is a state of Tennessee program called the Yellow Dot Program. You may have heard of it. This is what their folder looks like. It's similar in nature to the other two that we talked about. You are able to fill out their form with all of the same similar information. And there is a decal that they provide that you can put in the back of your vehicle, and then you put this into your glove box. And the difference between this program is that this is a statewide program, so it's not just a Fairfield Glade program. If you're traveling anywhere in this state at least, the first responders would be looking for the decal, therefore looking for the information in the glove box. And we feel that this is going to be a very helpful program. It is available at the police department for you to pick up, and we recommend that you use it. Now, clearly, these three programs overlap to some extent, and there are some redundancies. My feeling is, and certainly Fairfield Glade Resident Services firmly believes, that redundancy in the case of an emergency is a good thing. And so we highly recommend that you utilize all these resources, bearing in mind that the life that gets saved may be mine or yours or a loved one. And I'm very serious. Colleen.
While we're on this topic, just to get it into the minutes, could you talk a little bit about the Silver Alert program so that everybody knows that that exists here?
Thank you.
Again, just to go off of the House Watch and also the Key program, this software program is also going to incorporate a Silver Alert. So with this program, it's called At Risk. So of course, with our demographics, we've previously focused on Alzheimer's and dementia, but this is going to be for anybody that has medical condition or maybe a like autistic children or grandchildren that live in our community. This is going to be a good opportunity to provide that information. So currently we do have a Silver Alert program. It's by paper and we have a binder. But this program is going to allow, again, the officers to have access to this information automatically on their computers. And why this is important, so every second counts when a missing person occurs. So if the officers have this information accessible to them immediately, then we can go ahead and provide information to rescue services, BOLOs, getting out car descriptions out. So this information is very critical to us. So again, this is part of another tier with this program that we're doing. Again, it will be accessible online for people to fill out from their comfort of their home. But again, we do have this in pen and paper at the office that we will definitely help you guys out with. Does that answer your question, Colleen?
It certainly does.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yes, Diana.
I hope you're going to have a meeting for the volunteers to tell them about the change from the little pillbox information folder to what you're talking about now.
You can anticipate that, yes.
Yesterday, I was talking about the little build-up.
Yep, it's in process, and it'll all happen. Now, the kits that I showed you are actually available, but to be honest with you, we're kind of trying to use up our existing inventory of the pillboxes. So feel free to get a pillbox now, or if you want to wait till they come out, you can get the new, or both. Now, bear in mind that the board members, the staff, those of you who attend these meetings regularly are probably among those who are most likely to know all this stuff anymore because you're most likely to pay attention, perhaps more likely than some of our residents. So I'm talking as much as anything to that camera in the back today. I hope as many people as possible hear this as they do all of the information provided at these board meetings, because it's a great way to disseminate this kind of information. On the other hand, go back and talk to your own circle of friends, your circle of acquaintances, and help get this information out. Remember, we're always looking for volunteers at resident services. Most of our volunteers actually devote their time and energy to the particular resident services program of their choice and of their greatest interest. Feel free to stop in our office. It's in the strip mall behind the Dollar Tree. Come in anytime and talk about volunteering, talk about utilizing our services, whatever your needs might be. We're open 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. Sorry for the time. Thank you very much.
Bill,
Yes, sir.
a couple years back, you were talking about moving.
About what?
About moving your
I was going to move?
resident services.
Oh, yes.
Is that a possibility, or are you staying where you are?
Basically, we would very much like to be a closer part of the community, more visible to the community. One of our challenges frankly, is the fact that we believe that there are many people in the community, many of our members and residents, who don't even know we exist. And one of the ways of coping with that is to be more visible in your physical location. So would we entertain some possibility of being more visible, closer to the village center here? Yeah, we would. On the other hand, we have a very nice facility. We have a very comfortable arrangement with our landlord. So, two sides to that coin, but the basic answer to your question is it's primarily about, not about function, but about location and visibility. So yeah, we're always considering that. Yes, sir.
Maybe there's an opportunity to partner with the new visitor center that's going up and be a portion of that.
That's what my note says here at the bottom of my paper, sir. Yeah. Very good point. Thank you. Anything else? Good. I'm out of here.
Okay. Thanks, Phil. The one thing that I would add is that this is a great step forward in that we are really taking a big step forward in standardizing the information sheet. And so whether you complete it and put it into the pill box, or you complete it or put it into the magnetic envelope, or whether you complete it and put it into the folder in your glove compartment, the information is all basically the same on all of those forms, and all of it is designed to assist the first responder when they're attempting to provide you with assistance. One of the things that we have discussed multiple times with resident services is they have a very good track record of distributing the pill boxes to people. The real issue is that many people have those pill boxes still sitting in a drawer in the kitchen that have never been filled out, okay? And so until the information goes on the sheet and is put in the receptacle, whatever it is, it really doesn't do you any good. So we are hoping that the standardization of this information will make it, and the fact that it's readily available online, will increase the percentage of those who actually fill out the form and make it available to the first responders. With that, we will move to the point in the agenda where we'll take comments from the floor. So if anyone has any comments they'd like to make, please step up to the podium.
Thank you. Tom Ratcliffe. Ellen, welcome. I'm I didn't know Ken's comments were kind of coming there, but welcome, and I'm hoping that as part of the interview process you had with the board, that you provided them maybe with a resume that you might give their approval to post. So members like myself, we could get to understand your background and so forth, if that would work out.
Sure, I can talk to the board about it.
Okay, that'd be great. I know that Ken probably walked you through, or the board during the interview process, your roles and responsibilities, and I don't want my comments to be misconstrued. I firmly believe that with all of the challenges this board is looking at in the future, it's going to take 7 members of the board working diligently, taking the workloads, balancing the workloads, being actively involved in that. And I hope that you've seen that over the days that you've been working with the board and going to take that active role. This vacancy created an opportunity for the board, Ken, and members of the board, to look at it and to ensure that we're getting the best talent we could get to move the board forward. And why do I say that? I'm not trying to take and put in that Tom shouldn't have a seat on the board. He should, based on our bylaws. Our bylaws also state that this board will approve his nominee. Now, I might have missed it. I didn't see a vote. But you can go to our bylaws, and they state in the event of a vacancy, what would take place. And when I say there was an opportunity, I'm not saying turn Ellie down, his, nominee. What I'm saying is really taking a hard look at the position and what she will bring to the table, so we can, as members, know that we have the proper resources on the board to meet the challenges now and in the future. So I don't know how you're going to address as far as the approval, Ken, but it is an opportunity at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Do we have other comments from the floor?
Thank you.
My name is Ellie Kellerman. I live at 62 Bromo Lane. And yesterday in the workshop meeting, I brought up the fact that there are 3 entities on this board: the community center, the timeshares, and Tom Anderson. In the past, we have had comments from the 2 of the parties, the community center and the timeshares. I request that Tom Anderson have a participating part within the meetings, give a report. Now, maybe Ellen doesn't know what subjects should she discuss, but maybe the members of the community could send her an email saying aspects that they're interested in. While we were discussing this April 17th blast to the community came up, and it concerns Tom Anderson's plans to have a general store and a restaurant. Now, everybody knows we're supposed to be building a Druid Hill restaurant that's going to cost $3 to $4 million. And the subject was suggested that if Tom Anderson is going to build a restaurant, it would be in competition with the restaurant that we are funding. And this issue should be discussed and addressed because it could have a big impact on us spending money and being in competition. So that is what I'm asking, that the issue be addressed.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments from the floor?
Ted Landers. First, I want to applaud the board for moving forward with the reserve study. As a former president of a townhome association, those were critically important, so we didn't have to do special assessments and things. So I think that is a huge step forward, and I applaud the board for that positive action. Then I have a question about the entertainment putting green, and I'm just wondering, is that going to be in addition to a putting green that golfers would use, or
There will be 2 greens there.
There would be. Okay.
One for practice before you go out on the course, and one much more of an entertainment one.
Okay.
So the one that you would practice at before you go out will simulate what you will experience out on the greens on those courses.
Okay, thank you very much. I also like the idea of looking for new revenue streams, so I'm certainly on board with all of that, so thank you.
I'm Nico Sergio. I've been a community club member since April of 2005. I have 3 different subjects I'm going to discuss today. I want to apologize to Ken for a comment I made. We found the email that was sent out 3 years ago about the restaurant and the general store. There was no agreement. It was a statement that Tom Anderson and FGH Land Tennessee was going to build a restaurant, general store, and some other things. And there was no agreement. I misunderstood that, so I do apologize, Ken. Second issue is I want to take this opportunity to thank Joe Page and Abby Julian for organizing the indoor concert series. I think a lot of people enjoy that, and I hope it's a success, and I hope you will attend it. The third and last issue is I'm here to discuss the community club guest passes. In December of 2022, the Vista and Glade Sun newspapers published an article about the upcoming speaker for the January 4th Ladies Club Luncheon. In the article, Mr. Oliver Dossman states that he is expanding Eden Ridge, a retreat and vacation destination, to accommodate up to 10,000 guests a year. On the Eden Ridge reservation page, it states the following: Fairfield Glade is a resort community located 10 minutes from Eden Ridge. Click here to learn more and to request guest cards to use the resort's many amenities during your stay at Eden Ridge. Fees apply. After clicking on the Fairfield Glade option, you will see the following information on community club amenities available during your stay at Eden Ridge. Fairfield Glade guest passes. Guests can enjoy the Fairfield Glade amenities at the guest rate and have access to various free events and activities. Amenities available to our guests include 5 championship golf courses with 90 holes of golf, racket center with additional facilities for both indoor and outdoor pickleball, 4 indoor-outdoor swimming pools for recreation and exercise opportunity, wellness center with state-of-the-art fitness equipment, horseback riding stable, mini golf and playgrounds, 11 spring-fed pristine lakes for fishing and boating, 2 with beaches and marinas, free access to the beaches with guest passes, miles of paid walking paths and rugged hiking trails to enjoy the spectacular mountain beauty free, art center as well as an arts and crafts center. Eden Ridge qualifies as an IRS 501c3 nonprofit, the same status as the Fairfield Glade Community Club. 501c3 nonprofit organizations are exempt from paying federal income tax. The 2022 corporate income tax is 21%. The question comes up, and it's published on the Eden Ridge website. Can non-missionaries stay at Eden Ridge? Yes, most definitely. We welcome and encourage both missionaries and non-missionaries to stay at Eden Ridge. Since the fee for non-missionaries is more substantial, they play a significant role in helping to keep the costs low for missionaries. Note, all guests must sign with the ministry's statement of faith in accordance with our 501c3 IRS status. All Eden Ridge guests must agree with and abide by the missionary statement of faith and the Eden Ridge guest policies. Our facility staff reserve the right at their sole discretion to cancel reservations or terminate stays if either or both are violated. Mr. Dossman stated that the majority of the region Eden Ridge guests stay for 1 week. Weekly rates at Eden Ridge are a studio, $1,925. 1-bedroom cabins, $2,275. 2-bedroom cabins, $2,625. Discounts are available for qualified guests. So let's do some profit comparisons between lodging at Eden Ridge versus Holiday Inn Express. A 1-week studio at Eden Ridge is $1,925. Discounts may be available for qualified individuals. It comes with no breakfast, and Eden Ridge is exempt from federal corporate tax of 21% since it has a 501c3 classification. It gets to keep the entire $1,925. A 1-week room at Holiday Inn Express will cost you as little as $665, $95 a day. It comes with an included breakfast. I feel the breakfast is worth $15 to $20 a day for 2 individuals. Holiday Inn has to pay a corporate tax on the $665. The combined state and federal corporate tax rate in Tennessee is 26%, 26%, resulting in a net income of $387 that Holiday Inn can keep of the $665 weekly room charge. In summation, the $1,925 Eden Ridge divided by the $387, the funds that Holiday Inn gets to keep, results in Eden Ridge getting 5 times the income as a competing corporation does. Therefore, I have 2 options that I'm asking the board. I'm asking the Community Club Board to review our covenants and restrictions, our anti-discrimination policies, to determine if guests from Eden Ridge violate any of our governing documents or the intent of our documents. 2, therefore, I'm requesting that the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board start charging $25 for all guest passes issued in the spirit of fairness and equity to all community club members. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Nico.
I have a handout for the board.
Do we have any other comments from the floor? Diana, step up to the microphone, please. Please step up to the microphone so that we get it on tape.
One comment, Nico, the community club is a 501c4 organization. We're tax exempt, but we're not a 501c3. So.
For clarity, my name is Diana Brown, 10 Fontes Terrace. They don't pay to use our amenities, Eden Ridge?
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. You as a member of the community club have the ability to request guest passes for folks who come to visit you, okay? And they then can use the facilities and they pay guest rate charges, which are more than a preferred member charge, okay? Mr. Dossman owns 2 properties here, and so as a member of the community club, he is not violating any of our regulations. There are also other members who own multiple units, condos, okay, who also will apply for guest passes for folks who come and use their facilities. So this is not something extraordinarily new or surprising. This is a practice that goes on, and as a member, okay, having other folks have guests come here and use the facilities does nothing more than drive our revenue.
But understand that I don't even think I've ever had a guest here in 20 years to use the amenities, but he's having hundreds of people come in and use our amenities free?
No, they are not using the amenities for free. They are paying guest rates. So if they want to go to the golf course, they pay a premium for using the golf course. If they, if you have family that comes in and you want them to use the pool, okay, then you go to the front desk, you get a guest pass. The pass is for free, okay? But when you go and use the pool, you pay guest rates for the pool. The proposal that Nico has here is that if you have folks come in and visit you, you're going to pay $25 just to get them the pass. Then they will pay guest rates when they use the facilities. See,
I'd like to make the statement that somewhere down the line, wouldn't it be great if we could use as residents the amenities free, even if our guests had to pay? We pay to have it built, and we pay to use it. Boy, I would sure like to go to the pool at least, or play tennis or pickleball free, and make what you want on golf, but I think we need some help in paying.
well, let's be very clear now, okay? that would be an interesting proposal, but your annual assessments will go up proportionally.
Well, we can find money for everything else. Why can't we find money for something like this? Even just the pools. It'd be nice to use the pools free.
Well, pools cost money to operate,
Well,
and that's why
you've got the money.
when you came in
You've got
here,
the money for everything else. You don't have the money for holes in the roads or anything like that, but you got money to keep charging us. And another thing, I don't think we need another restaurant, and I have emailed this to the committee.
Okay.
We don't need another restaurant. We need to run the one we have efficiently. I've read everything on Nextdoor from, there were flies in my food, the prices were high, the food was so-so. And, you know, we need to learn how to run a restaurant efficiently. Other people do. Look at the 3 Mexican restaurants on Peavine and mom and pop restaurants that seem to make it. And Spike's, I mean, look at the crowds at Spike's. But we don't need another restaurant if we can't run the one we have efficiently.
okay, thank you. Do we have any other comments from the audience?
Trish Chambers, Handing Drive. Just one quick question, this may be stupid. Entertainment putting green, what exactly is this?
Okay, if you went to the last town hall, we showed pictures of ones that are there. You can see those on our website in the presentation that was given. But fundamentally what it is, it's a very rolling kind of green, so that it's almost like a putt-putt type of thing, only really grass. So the idea is it's a place for families, for guests, for people to use, which will also help us with the food and beverage piece. And many of these people are golfers, and they'll have a drink or something while they're playing those things. They're becoming very popular, if you will, in the clubs that we surveyed. And the people that were working with the golf committee and the staff, we visited and talked to over 36 different golf courses that are having these kinds of things. And they're becoming very, very popular. But they're not the kind of thing that you would want to use to go out and practice before you went and hit, because you're not going to see all those undulations and things.
We hope not. All right, so there is going to be a charge for that, to use that?
That's all TBD. We're looking at the design, construction, and all of that right now. We have not brought back anything in terms, we have not brought back anything in terms of cost. We have not brought back, and it won't be the charge of the committee to look at how we're going to operate it. That will be a conversation probably at the board level and the operations group.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, thank you.
My name is Jean Geib, and I live on Doyle Court. I just have what may seem to be a silly question. With the fees for the different amenities, what fee does an outsider pay? Do they pay the guest without accompaniment?
There's a unaccompanied guest fee for somebody that walks in off the street that wants to use it.
So somebody can come from anywhere and golf, right?
Yeah, and that's part of being a 501c4.
Gotcha.
Okay, we have to make our amenities available to the public.
Okay. I just didn't see anything other than unaccompanied guests, and when
Yeah,
I saw guests, I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
you had to be.
And so you'll see that if you look at the fee schedules for the marinas and for the
Right.
golf courses and all that, there's always an unaccompanied guest fee.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other comments? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Cool.
Do you have some other comments? Okay,
Yeah.
go.
Just a couple things, and this all relates to Druid. Seems to be a topic that people want to talk about. Number one, we thank all the community members that participated in the focus groups. We got a lot of good information out of there, and everyone who had requested to be in a focus group, and there were about 120, were invited. and then we had others that participated. Not everyone who was invited participated because they had conflicts with the schedule and they weren't here or whatever. But everyone who wanted to try to be in a focus group, we at least anyway contacted and asked them if they could come on a certain date. And most of them could, some of them couldn't. We finished the last ones up of those in January. Where we are with that is that's all been turned over to PCA and the Food and Beverage Committee, and looking at all of those comments, which will go into the design of the survey that we'll be doing at some point. So we thank you, and it's been very helpful for that. The other thing that I would put out is that the golf architect that we just approved the RFP, or I'm sorry, the PR today for, we made a commitment, and we stated it religiously in each one of the town halls, that our intention is not to turn any dirt until we know that the driving range is in part of the club. This statement that the MOU that you're going to be able to look at is a major step forward in that regard. But we're not intended to come back and do any kind of construction. It's much later in this spring, in April time frame. So we're still religiously holding to our comment that our intention is not to turn any dirt until that's resolved, and the resolution is, of course, an agreement. Now, I will also make sure that everyone understands that the design, dirt pulling, and all of that, with the putting green, that's our land. That's not subject to the MOU. That's already our land. So whatever we do there, we can do. So if you see things happening and people walking around, we're doing that because we can, all right? And it's separate, it's a whole separate decision from what would be done at the driving green. So I just wanted to make those statements. And then one other thing, a couple weeks ago, or actually a month ago or so, we reported that we were going to put some of our lots on MLS through Fairfield Glade Realty. That happened yesterday. They're active, they're out there. We're going to track and see how we do. At the same time, we have put lots on our own website. We put 50 on each. We want to see what reaction we get. The whole idea, as I said before, is to get these lots sold. We're not in the business of realty. What we want to do is sell those lots and get income coming in from the dues. So that's happened as of yesterday, and if you have a desire, you can go out on MLS and actually see those lots. So, thank you.
Okay, do I have any other comments from members of the board? Then I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we stand adjourned.
Good job. Pretty official.
There we go.
Can't do it. Thank you. Yeah, I have to get up to Rochester for a wedding, so I have to like confusing flight. I have to transfer somewhere. Oh, I won't.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I got an answer for you.
Well, I hope. So,
By the way, Greg Jones.
Ted Landers.